What's happening, everybody? WoDaddy back in action with Mr. RockLeo. And we are going to be drawing a picture tonight that is a Disney theme from our good friend Nicolas with a C. And I'm wondering if you can guess what character from what movie that I believe is currently in theaters we're going to be drawing. Have you ever been to Disney?
No, I don't.
It's wild. So it has a boat.
Yeah.
And I believe John Krasinski's wife is in it, but that probably means nothing to any of y'all. The main character used to be a Denver Bronco and a professional wrestler. And I'm thinking that the ride has like monkeys and hidden treasure and stuff like that. What movie do you think we are talking about?
Jungle Cruise?
That is correct. The main character has your nickname and his nickname.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Excuse me?
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
I believe that that is correct. So, I think that we are going to get into the creation station.
And
Check it out! Welcome back to the creation station. We are going portrait style. We got Leo here. He's going to share some insight on The Rock. Can you say hello?
hello.
And I want to kind of just start. We're going to have like a big mouth. We're going to have kind of small in the head. And then we're going to get his Jungle Cruise hat. So I'm going to start in the upper portion of my page, just a little bit lower, with kind of a big, long, angular nose.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna test out a couple. Oh yeah, that's a good Sharpie. So, Leo, like, first fact about The Rock, like, what was the first time you heard of The Rock? Because you are what, 10?
Yeah.
See, I'm 141, and so my rock history database goes back a whole lot further.
Yeah, so I heard about the first time I saw The Rock is like in movies. I think it was
Look at the big wide mouth.
Like, I think it was like when Moana came out.
I was gonna say the same thing.
And I was like, who's saying that? And it was The Rock. And so I was like, who's The Rock? And then I just found out about him.
And what do you think of Moana? Are you a fan?
Yeah, I liked it at the time. It's a pretty good movie. I watched it like 24 times.
24 times. So after that, I mean, it gets a little,
Yeah.
you know, like you can recite every line.
No, I actually literally watched it 24 times. I counted how many times I watched it.
It's pretty awesome. So right now I'm just doing like a quick fill, and one of the key features that I wanted to point out was the really wide mouth, and I'm going to kind of tighten everything up, and I'm just going to kind of pop this side of his face out, so it's going to look a little bit exaggerated, which means, like, look what we're going to do here. We're going to go like
He looks like a monkey.
double, kind of double wide, sort of wide, and then look what we're going to do by the ear. We're going to do like a little ear kind of sticking out. And I kind of tighten it inside. And then we're going to go kind of big old neck.
Yep.
You know, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put his eyes kind of like low down by his nose. A little exaggerated to really show that, like, hey, of like his mouth. And then we're just going to throw the hat like right immediately on top. So normally I like to leave a lot of forehead space, but for this one I'm going to go kind of small and thick with the eyebrows and just like pop the hat right in there and not leave a whole lot of space, because I want to show, I just want to sort of show that exaggerated, kind of big, larger than life look of his face. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to kind of pump it out in the top like big muscles.
Yeah.
So my first experience with The Rock was as a professional wrestler. and he had long sideburns and
Really long sideburns.
yeah, and like kind of short black hair, which people don't expect when they see it, because now he rocks the balding look, which is kind of how his acting career has been. And the cool thing about Sharpie is if you didn't want a line, you could just color right over it. So I'm going to sort of do that and just sort of rock in, filling in. I can go back over that a little later. So he had a feud with Mankind. Are you familiar with who Mankind is?
No.
Mankind, he was a wrestler.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know he's a wrestler.
So do you remember what accessory Mankind used when he was wrestling? Like his finishing move, he put an article of clothing on his hand and stuck it in your mouth. And you were basically like choking on it.
No, I don't know.
It was a sock.
Oh.
A stinky, nasty sock. It had like a face drawn on it. Shout out to Stinky Socks. And it was basically, it was called Socko. And he had a little face, and he'd stick it in your mouth and squeeze you. And a few times The Rock got socked with Socko and knocked out by Mankind. That was pretty crazy. And if anybody knows who Stone Cold Steve Austin is, you familiar with that name?
No.
Well, he was like, I guess he would call himself like a redneck, and that was his kind of wrestling shtick. And he was sort of like the big figure that everybody loved in the WWE at the time, and him and The Rock had like a big feud. Because they were both kind of the good guy, and then they were the bad guy for a little bit, and then they were the good guy again, so, you know, with wrestling, it's all like a soap opera, so it's like whatever they want you to be.
Yeah.
So here we're gonna put a little collar, and what I've done here is that kind of like a bandana tied around his neck, because he's like a jungle cruise captain, so I guess it gets sweaty out there, so you need the bandana. And so we're gonna put a little collar here, and then the collar kind of flips over like this, and you know, heck, we'll throw like a button in there. All right, and then he's got suspenders, which is kind of a funny look for The Rock, being like a shipboat captain. So what else do you know The Rock from? Like, what is something else where The Rock stood out in like a movie, TV, or news media? Or
Yeah, well...
I can think of a game movie that he was in.
Yeah, well, he was in, like... He sang in Moana, and he was Maui for Moana, and,
Kevin Hart was in it, and Jack Black.
why am I forgetting the name? I just blacked out. Like, what is...
It's a
Jungle.
Jumanji.
I just forgot. Yeah, it's Jack Black, and,
What'd you think of him in Jumanji?
it was good. Welcome to the Jungle wasn't the best one. The third one was good, and the first one was good. And then the old one.
You didn't like Welcome to the Jungle, the second one?
No.
Where that kids were the adults and the adults were the kids?
Yeah, no, I didn't like that.
I had to say, the concept was there, but the movie kind of did fall short.
Yeah.
You know, one of those movies where they're like, we got this really good idea, but they don't really execute on the idea very well, and you're like,
Yeah.
man, I got all hyped up for this movie. That
Yeah,
kind of,
because they're like small parts that like make it so the idea like doesn't happen.
That is true. So we're gonna give him a little. Look at this. I'm gonna give him a little stretch out in the cheek and like kind of stretch out in the ear and a little twinkle in the eye. I'm gonna give him a little of that. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put like this jungle cruise boat kind of in the background,
Yeah.
sort of beaching up on shore, and we're gonna make like a little wave. And then there's going to be like a rock right here, and maybe another rock, because this is Dwayne The Rock. All right, so we're going to go Dwayne The Rock Johnson. All right, so what I've done here is I've used a specific spot in the background to incorporate his name. All right, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna put this kind of floating chest, okay? And it's got like a lid, sort of like that, and like straps. Okay, so it's gonna sort of go like this. And I guess it fell out of the boat. All right, so a little clasp to lock it up. And it's got like some stickers on it with some writing, like a little sticker here. You know, back in the day, that was your luggage and it weighed like 1,000 pounds and you were going on vacation for a really long time. And so you basically take like half your belongings on a jungle cruise, which is crazy, you know, and you might never come back, or you might not come back for a very long time, or you might sell all your possessions and end up with new stuff you'd have to put in the box, and the stickers would be like a really special sticker to show where you went. Yeah. All right, so then this is the roof, and the roof has kind of like a canopy like this. All right, so did you know that The Rock, before he was a wrestler, was a member of the Denver Broncos temporarily?
Yeah, you told me that.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. So he did that for a little bit, but I think he got an injury that prevented him from playing full time, and wrestling was a viable option that he could sustain because the rigors of football is, you know, it's a lot more demanding from like a scheduling financial sense than wrestling. Yeah. But with wrestling, you still have to put up with like all the bumps and bruises and life on the road and stuff like that. One of the things about The Rock that I think is pretty amazing is he probably quit at a good time. You know, he didn't run his career to the ground till the very end, and you know, he moved into his acting career, and I think he's been pretty successful. You know, he's worked with good people, he's pretty funny. All right, so what we're gonna do at the top is we're gonna put sort of jungle cruise. All right, so we're gonna sort of add that up here. All right, and add what we have going on. John, we're gonna run out of a little space. Well, that's okay. Put a little cruise right here. Yep. And you'll get the idea. So sometimes we do that in our work of art. In my practice drawing, I was actually able to get the whole thing, but I think it's cool that he's blocking it. So it makes you just kind of think about the word. Any other movies, TV, or places you've seen The Rock?
I could think of so many, but I forgot them.
He was in the Baywatch remake.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, he was in this other thing that I saw. He's on TV a lot, and he's in a lot of memes.
Yeah, he's doing stuff to like, you know, help kids and things like that. You know, he always does sort of like program promoting healthy lifestyles and athletics, and he does some funny stuff with Kevin Hart. So there is Dwayne The Rock Johnson. For our buddy Nicolas, I want to show you when you make drawings like this, make multiples so that you have ideas to work off of, and you can say, I like this, I like this, I like that, I like that. I'm going to go ahead and add like a little facial like stubble detail, which is, you know, one of those things we might see in The Rock, and it would fit kind of like the captain. You know, they don't really get to shave every day. And this one, I kind of like Jungle Cruise better. On this one, I like the layout of the boat better. I want to thank RockLeo for us, and we are out of here. Send your suggestions, draw along with us, and have a wonderful night. See you later.
Bye.